So once we got the diagnosis of Shwachman-Diamond syndrome for Kayla and Nora, we were told that they did have an increased risk of one day needing a stem cell transplant, and that they can look into the bone marrow registry and see if there's anyone with a bone marrow match to them, an HLA match. So we said, yeah, sure, let's be proactive. Let's see. They told us that since we're Caucasian, we had a very high chance of having multiple matches, hundreds even. So I wasn't that worried. And when I got the phone call back from our hematologist that they have 0 matches in the bone marrow registry in the entire world, at least people who are in the registry, that terrified me, because my husband and myself were half matches, haplo matches. That's not ideal for a bone marrow transplant. We tested their older sisters. They were not matches for them either. And there were 0 matches in the registry. So God forbid either of my girls who were the same HLA type. So we only need one person in the entire world to be their match. God forbid they needed a transplant. They had no option. We have no options. We have half matches, but that's not ideal. And the chance of success is drastically lower with half matches than a full match, a perfect match. So we talked it over. We spoke to some people in the community who had done it before, and we decided that we were going to have another baby via IVF who would not have Shwachman-Diamond syndrome and would be a bone marrow match for our girls. And we only had one embryo once we did IVF, one embryo. And I remember the doctor saying, the chance of this being what you need is not very likely, because it's an autosomal recessive syndrome. And with autosomal recessive diseases, you have a 25% chance of having the disease, a 25% chance of not having it, and a 50% chance of being a carrier. So there was a 75% chance that this one embryo would not have Shwachman-Diamond syndrome, which sounds great. 75% chance, that's good. But now you have to take into account the HLA typing. And every time you have a child, it's a 25% chance each time of being an HLA match. So that brings that 75% down, and then you have to take into account chromosomal or abnormalities, and that brings it down again. So they said it was less than 20% chance. I believe they said it was about 18% chance that this one embryo would be what I needed it to be. And the phone call came, and they said, we tested your embryo. It's a perfect match, and it does not have Shwachman-Diamond syndrome, and it was a boy, and we have 4 girls. So my husband was probably very happy about that. But so we had Danny, and he's absolutely the most perfect addition to our family. He's the most beautiful baby in the world. My girls love him to death. He's our little miracle.